Hi, Kevin Coupe here, and this is FaceTime with the Content Guy. There's a fascinating series of articles running on Slate.com right now that I think you ought to take a look at, and I'll put the link actually in the text version of this commentary. And it's basically a series of stories about what it would be like to live in a cashless society. And it's really sort of interesting. In some ways, it's a little scary because it means that we will have given banks even more control over our lives if every transaction is made using a credit card or a debit card, and that's not necessarily a good thing. The more control we give the greedy bankers, potentially the bigger trouble we get into. But there could be positives to a cashless society. For example, maybe less corruption. Right? It's hard to bribe people if you don't have cash to do it with and everything is traceable. Maybe a little bit less crime. Are drug dealers going to start taking credit cards? I'm not sure they will, although they'll probably figure something out. Are there negatives? Absolutely. Perhaps an end to spontaneous charity, an end to certain kinds of tipping. But, regardless, I think if you examine the whole notion of a cashless society, you realize that we're already starting to go down that road, right? I'm amazed sometimes by how many days I can go without actually using cash. The same way I was once amazed when I drove from New York to Washington, and there's tons of toll booths, but it didn't matter that I didn't have any money with me because I just had Easy Pass, and I was sort of astounded by that. And that's sort of the direction we are moving in. We have to start paying attention to it as businesses. We're on what this article calls this unstoppable wave of technological progress. We have to think about these issues in our businesses, not just to think about how they're going to affect consumers, but how are they going to affect us? How are they going to impact how we do business? What is going to happen next? And if we don't think about those things, what it would be like to live in a cashless society, for example, the problem is maybe our competition is thinking about it. Maybe the competition is making plans. Maybe the competition is creating strategies. And then we're caught unawares. We are caught at a competitive disadvantage. Basically, we're screwed. Can't afford to let that happen. Anyway, that's what's on my mind this Thursday morning. And as always, I want to hear what's on your mind.